Hello, Ken Spriggs here with an unboxing, a review, and actually a build-up, which was a lot quicker than I had expected, of the brand new Grogu figure from Bandai, which is in a 1/4 scale and also a smaller 1/12 scale with this crib that actually is in the same scale as their version of the Mandalorian. So let's go ahead and take a look at this awesome kit. All right, and here is the brand new Bandai model kit of Grogu, or people often called the Child or Baby Yoda. And it comes in two different scales. It comes in a 1/4 scale, which is a bigger model, of course, and it also includes a 1/12 scale of a smaller version of him with his crib. And the reason for that is that this is the same scale as Mando, the Mandalorian, who is also in 1/12 scale from Bandai. So that version of him would be in the correct scale to go with that other figure, which is kind of cool. I like that. So I wasn't all that thrilled with the Mandalorian figure. Let me go and grab him real quick. So he's not terrible, but because they make him posable, you got these rounded joints and the obvious joints. I mean, if you really wanted to make him as like a model kit, first of all, you'd have to paint him, of course. You'd have to do a lot of puttying of a lot of those joints to make them look more like a figure, a model figure, rather than a toy. He looks like a toy. He isn't bad. I mean, it's nicely done, but at the same time, I wouldn't think of him as a model versus like an action figure. So I haven't done any of the other figures from Bandai. I've done the ships and other things, which are really awesome. And I like the idea of them being posable, but it just takes away, at least for me, from it being a model kit to being just a toy. So, but in any case, the smaller version of Grogu would be the right scale to go with him. So let me go ahead and open that up and we'll take a look. So this is actually really cool, and I was looking at the pictures of it, and I really like how they've designed it. So actually, let me kind of show you here. We can on the box. So the bigger version of it, there's a small version. The larger version of it actually comes with 3, maybe 4 different faces. I think there's 4. So you've got the regular one. You've got him with his eyes squinting because he's doing the Force. You've got him smiling, and you've got him eating a frog. And the way it works, and I'll show you when I open it up, is that you just have interchangeable faces, just the front, that you can replace. And it's snap fit like the other ones, so you can change it out. You also have a choice of 2 sets of ears, a droopy one and a regular one. So you could do one ear drooping like this, one looking like that to give him that look, or do 2 that are straight or 2 that are drooping, whatever you want to do. Of course, it comes with the frog. Now he is posable as well, but because he just has this robe and the sleeves, it's really not as obvious. And the same with the hands. They have a ball joint, the head has a ball joint, so they can move around. But it's not quite as obvious as the Mando figure or some of the other ones, where you're going to see that rounded joint that you can't escape, that it's gonna move around. So, all right. So let me show you what's inside of here. Pardon the crumpling paper noise in the background. My little kitty Mocha is playing in the box that these came in with the paper. All right. So you first of all have this sprue right here. And this has his main, the larger and the smaller, the main, whatever you would call this, his little tunic and his arms and some other parts that go together. And it's molded in color, so you have this kind of a beige, and then you have the scarf in this piece, which is a darker, like a darker beige or like a very light brown, that kind of thing. And it's a nice texture in it too. So that's kind of cool. So you could just build this straight out of the pack And I'll take these out of the plastic as well and show you how that looks. All right, so that's the main parts. You have your instructions, which we'll go over here shortly. And you have the second little bag of sprues. It looks like it just has, I don't know if those are stickers. I think those are stickers. I don't think that they are decals. But you can see, here's the different faces. Here's a couple sets of ears. And those come in two parts. There's more over here. You got his feet, because he actually has feet that we never really see. And you have the back of his head. And then on this other side, you have the smaller pieces for him. The little frog. You have his little crib, which is still a pretty decent size to go with the larger Mando. So that's kind of cool. I like that added part of it. So, all right, let me go ahead and take these out of the plastic, and we'll take a look at each of the sprues. All right, so here are all the sprues out of the plastic. So again, here is his tunic. It has some nice detail in it. I like this little bit of fabric there inside of it. Of course, it snaps together, so if you really wanted to, you could fill the seam here and paint it and do things like that. So here is one of his arms. Here's the other one. Two parts. Some connecting pieces. Here's the small torso for the smaller version with his arms. And these arms are just one piece. They're not two halves. So that's kind of cool. Some other connecting pieces. All right. Then you have his scarf. See the nice texture on it. That's pretty cool. And that's in two pieces. You'd have to snap that together. Now, of course, again, if you wanted to, you could seal that seam up, but you'd have to match it up and paint it. Another little piece of it, probably for his, oh, that's for the small one, I'm sorry. Another little piece right there. Another piece right there. I think these are his sleeves, probably for his arms, yeah. Probably his arm sleeves. For the big one, yeah. And that's just a one-piece scarf for the little 1/12 version. It's also pretty cool, so. All right. Let's see, I'll save that one till last. Let me take a look at this. So this one's really cool. So here you go. So here you have your two parts of some ears, and they're front and back. So you have to put those together. You have two other ones. So you have a straight version and a drooping version. You have the back of his head, and obviously the ears go on the sides right here. There's his feet. And then you have the different faces, so that's kind of cool. So that looks kind of creepy, actually, without the eyes. But there's his little, his teeth showing, which you do see occasionally. He has teeth. You have the one that's open, and that would be the frog going in there, I believe. There's the one with him with his eyes squinted. He's using the Force. And then you have just a regular one with his eyes opened. And what's cool about this is that the eyes are separate. And the same eyes go with all four of these. You repeat the same eyes. Let me show you how that works. So first of all, let me show you the crib. So that's pretty cool. Oh, that's the inside of it, okay. So this is the bottom, this is the inside, separate piece. That's kind of cool, you could paint that. You've got the back part, and then you have the front if you wanted to close it. I guess these parts go with it as well. And that's molded in white. So that's kind of cool. You have that. I'm not sure what that is. Almost looks like some engines for it, but you don't ever really see that. There's your little tiny Grogu's face. He doesn't have different faces. There's just the back with the ears, his two hands. I'm not sure what those two pieces are. There's the frog, or the part of the frog goes in his mouth, just the legs sticking out. Okay. You've got a little stand for it. And then these are parts of the eyes. It's one piece and it's clear domes. But what you do is you also have, over here, these two black domes. So these go in first, and then you put a decal over top of that, and I'll just show the decal now. So these little round decals make that edge around his eyes. His eyes are really black, but you see a little bit of a pattern around the edge. That's what these are for. So these go over the black piece, and then the clear goes over the black pieces, and it goes into from the inside of the face, and it goes with all four faces. So depending on which one you're using, it doesn't matter. You still get the same eyes. And I'll show you when I get to the instructions. This is for the crib, so you get the worn little pattern there. I think those are as well, but I'm not sure what those are supposed to be. Just smudges or something. I'll have to look and see. And they are stickers. Okay, it does not come with any kind of decals. All right, so let me go ahead and get out the instructions and we'll take a look. All right, so I'm not going to go over the entire instructions because they go over everything as far as putting the crib together, which isn't really that difficult, putting him inside of it, that kind of thing. The main thing I want to show is that you can do these four different things. They have normal, using the force, smiling, eating, and the same thing. So you'll see here's the example of it. So you take this inner piece, you put these two black shiny parts inside of it. You stick those two decals over top of the black part, and then the clear part goes over top of that. And then that goes on the inside of the face, and it goes on all four faces. So it's usable for each one. And it's supposed to give you that cool look of his eyes and give it kind of some multi-layers to it. See if you can see that there. Yeah, so you can make out that little bit of detail around the edges of his eyes. And shows you again 5 and 6 of the decals. Oh, I know what that. Okay, so that one orangish, that's what that is. So this goes on the inside of his ears. I don't know how well that's going to stick as a sticker, but that's what it's for. I just noticed that in the instructions, it's showing that goes on either side here. Okay, but you can see the finished product is actually pretty nice. I mean, I didn't build it, of course, but it doesn't look like they painted it at all. Well, they might have. His nails are painted, but that looks pretty cool. And there's the 4 different looks that he has, which is kind of neat. And you could just take off the front face and replace it. You got his crib, which is kind of cool. The little one. And the little one doesn't have the same effect. He just has little black things that go behind his eyes. But just like the other ones, his eyes are also open. Let me get that here. Where is he? Right here. Okay. So there's the little face. It's the same thing. I believe that's the eyes for him there. They're just black. But I like how that's separate. The back of his head. So that's pretty cool. There's the big eyes. All right. So definitely very cool. So what I want to do, let me go ahead and take these bigger eyes out. I want to stick those decals on and put that into one of the faces and just kind of get the idea of how that looks. All right, so that white mechanism I thought was like an engine or something, that's actually the head mechanism. He looks like a robot. So Grogu's a robot all this time. He fooled us. So what you do is, let me take this off. So you have these two little black pieces. They click right in there. And you just put the decals over top. And at first I thought, oh, those look kind of dull. I wanted them to be shiny. But that doesn't matter because the clear piece that goes over top is shiny, which I just dropped. You find it here. Sorry. All right. And that has that little T in the middle, as you can see, which matches up with that little T on the mechanism. So all you do is stick this over top. And that gives you the shiny eyes. Those are kind of creepy. Separated from the face. So then you have the face. So you just put that on. And I have to clean up some of the sprue parts. I do like this. Now, it's an oddly shaped piece. Once I get this cleaned up and sanded down, and you put that together, it'll get away with not having to have too much, have to be putty if you're just going to use it as a toy. But look at that. Those eyes are pretty cool. Really awesome. I think that stands out because there's definitely some depth to them. You can make out that little bit of a decal back there. And his eyes are mostly black. But that's really cool. I like that. Let me do some of the other faces and show you what those look like. I went ahead and took off two of the ears as well and put those on. Now the ears come in two pieces like I said. They're not bad either. The seam is pretty well hidden. I mean, if you really wanted to, and this hasn't been cleaned up, of course. If you really wanted to glue these together and put some putty in, you could get a better seal as well, and they wouldn't be as noticeable. But I have one of the drooping ones and one of the regular ones, and they go in the back of the head, so you don't have to keep taking those off and putting them on the different faces. So here is the smiling, creepy face. It's the same thing. Just pop it on there. Now you'd want to paint his teeth, of course. But he's laughing. That's funny. I like that. Let me show the other two. Pretty easy to take off. Okay, there he is using the force. And it still works. So he has the squinted eyes, but you still see those shiny black eyes behind it. And just a little bit of that decal showing through. So really cool, really nice design. I'm really happy with that. And of course those go a little snugger if I clean them up as well. Very cool, very cool. Let me get the frog off and I'll show you the last one. All right, the frog is just the outer, his bottom torso and legs that just pops into the mouth, which is kind of cute. It's the same situation. He's eating the frog. Spit it out, spit it out. I really like those eyes. I really like that design of it. That's really cool. That really makes it so very nice, very nicely done. I like how that gives you several options to display him, and then you would move his arms as well in order to match that up. So definitely a pretty cool little kit. And those seams would go together better once I clean it up and those sorts of things, and clean off all the sprue pieces. All right, let me just show one other thing with this torso as well. All right, so I went ahead and popped together the body. Really pretty simple build. I'll finish the arms too and show you how he looks. So you just have a couple of pieces that you put inside and down here. The scarf goes together in two pieces. And that's not too bad of a seam either. You can see right there. The head just has a little ball joint that you click into it and it pops down inside so it can move around. But like I was saying, so you don't really see that much. So you might have to glue some of the parts. Looks like the ears might have to be glued to stay on a little snugger. But you could get away with making this into a model and even painting it and not having those really visible joints and showing it. These little pegs on the bottom are for his feet, which you never see. I don't think you ever see it, but I've never seen them in the show. I like the material. It looks pretty cool. And of course, you'd probably want to paint this and weather it anyway. So let me get the arms together and put those on, and that'll pretty much do him up real quick. All right, so I wasn't planning on building him, but he was really easy, very, very easy. So let me show you first of all. Here's the small version in the crib. Same thing, went together really easy to snap together. So it's not permanently attached. And I didn't put any of the stickers on, obviously. There's no stand for it. Now, the little figure, he's cool. He's a little cute. He doesn't have like a full bottom. He's made to just go in the crib. So he just has this little thing. That's fine. He's pretty cute. And his little sleeves aren't painted either, like his collar. They don't come in its own little color. So, okay. And there he is with Mando. So he's in scale with this figure, so that's kind of cool. Yeah, very cool. And here's the completed larger version, the 1/4 scale. Really nice, actually. Very simple. I mean, I put all these together in less than 30 minutes. Really, really super easy. Now you can see the little parts right there that are going to bend because his arms can go out. Yay! Of course, they go up and down. The hands move inside, that kind of thing. The head moves. I have the other 2 ears as well, the other straight one and the other drooped one if you wanted to do those two, plus the other faces. Really cool little kit. And if you wanted to, you could very easily paint this. Do a little bit of putting on these little seams around there. Once you get them together, get them painted. The nice thing is those eyes are separate, so you could just paint the outer head and ears before you put them together. Even glue in like the ears so that they have a better fit. There's his little feet. Really cool little model from Bandai. Really happy with this. Most definitely. Oh, you gotta push that in a little bit. There we go. Yeah, and it's not a bad design. Most of that is hidden when you have it like that. And you can put his arms down. So very, very nice. All right. So definitely worth getting this one, I think. I'm glad that I did. Now, I can pretend that he's a grown-up version. Mando, I am now your elder. I have grown up. Oh, you've gotten big. Just kidding. So he's obviously a much bigger scale than the Mando. So, okay. But check this out. A really nice little kit from Bandai. I didn't realize they were making one until they released it. But I think it's really pretty cool and well done. And you could definitely do a lot with it and modify it as well. So, all right. All right, and there's just a few more shots of these. And here's the front cover. You can put that onto the crib as well if you want to. With Mando, we've got the 3 separate faces that you can do. Cool little baby Grogu. Press them down a little bit. Yeah, and if you wanted to, you could even glue some of these in place and putty over some of that if you really wanted to, but that's not even all that noticeable. So I think that's fine. I think that looks pretty cool. But definitely a lot more like a model kit versus a playable action figure. So little Grogu in 1/4 and 1/12 scale from Bandai, from the Mandalorian. All right, so really cool little kit. Really glad I picked that up. I like the description of it. I got mine from Cult TV Man, and he had a lot of good pictures on his website of it. And I really like the idea of the interchangeable faces. I thought that really made this kit. And the eyes. The eyes, very clever, very well done. And they came out looking really cool with no need to paint those at all. So built up really fast. Like I said, I built the entire thing in less than 30 minutes. Fantastic little model. I will be doing an unboxing and a review coming up here shortly as well from two other kits that I got in from Cult TV Man on the same day. The very small 1350 Space Clipper from Mobius, and the very, very large 172 Space Clipper, which I thought was about 2 feet, but I started to measure some of the parts, and it's actually closer to 2.5 feet long. Very, very big. It's going to be a really cool kit. So stay tuned for that as well, and I'll be revealing that in the next few days and uploading it to show that awesome kit as well. All right. Thank you to all my new subscribers, and stay tuned.